Hey everybody, this is Serving Up Comics coming to you from our location in LA. It's a secret location. No one's allowed to know. It's Gene's apartment.
It's my house. Yeah. Sorry, studio apartment.
Yeah. Today we're going to be talking about Shang-Chi, Batman. Not only that, but also we have a special interview that Gene did with one of the cast members of Life is Strange, which I can't wait to see, and I hope you guys are excited for it first. But here we go. We're going to get into the episode. I can't wait to see what exactly happens.
Yeah.
First thing, Shang-Chi.
I did, yeah.
I saw it Friday. You saw it Saturday,
I saw
right?
it delay, yeah. Saturday.
Yeah, you saw it yesterday. Yeah. How'd you like it?
I thought it was fairly good in terms of like, you know, I don't think there's ever like a bad Marvel movie. Even Thor: The Dark World is like has like entertaining aspects about it. Shang-Chi was someone compared it to like Tekken. A little bit.
No.
Okay. Well, like it's like such a interesting like kung fu movie. Like it really goes into being this sort of like kung fu sort of. It's very like Eastern in terms of like storytelling, in terms of like you know, like a lot of Chinese martial arts films dealing with some of those themes. And I thought it was fairly good. I had some problems with like the third act. I felt it was kind of messy, and some of the cameos kind of took me out of the movie. Even though they were like interesting to see certain characters, I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm just being like a nerd or whatever, but things I'm like, wait, but why is Wong in this fighting tournament? You know, does that like his like
well, it
Wong's
wasn't
just that's how he gets out, how he like has fun, he just fights people. I thought that's cool.
Because I thought because we all know that Marvel doesn't put things in movies just to put things in movies sometimes.
Right.
And they always leave like little tiny Easter eggs in order for us to later on then go, oh, that's what that was about.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I think that Wong is training the new Avengers.
Okay.
Like training another, like, you know, strong.
Right. Or they're getting together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess full on spoilers at this point, right?
Yeah, full on spoilers.
Right.
I mean, that by the time this comes out, the movie's been out for at least a week or so.
Yeah.
And so it's full on spoilers. But I do think the Abomination Wong thing, because I was going to get into it later, but the whole thing with the Hulk, because it kind of looks like Bruce Banner can no longer become the Hulk.
Yeah.
It looks like
in credits.
Yeah, the end credit scene, he looks very injured. He looks like he's aging incredibly fast.
Well, Mark Ruffalo is kind of up there. He's like 50-something.
He is 50-something, but the thing is that they don't like... How can I say this? They do makeup for a specific reason. Mm-hmm. And even though Mark Ruffalo is getting older, like he is starting to gray, he's starting to do everything like that, and that's fine. But that's also, you know, somebody had to look at that and go, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Like, yeah, he looks older and anything like that. Oh, yeah, we're not going to color his hair. We're not going to do anything else. And he looks kind of disheveled. Like, and it looks more like he's kind of like the intel and science guy now, and less of the... Because he's no longer... what was it? Smart Hulk.
Yeah. Well, even when he was Smart Hulk, like, he wasn't very helpful sometimes. Where in terms of he just helps them with time travel, he just becomes like a tech character, and then in Endgame, like I think he just kicks someone, and that's the only time he like does anything hulky. Like he smashes some stuff for comedic, but he's not like attacking people. Like he's just kind of like.
But I mean, like attacking, like he does, because he does do things inside of like the battle, which the battle with Thanos. Like you see him fighting in the background.
Yeah, he's just in the background. Like, but then his arm's still broken.
His arm is still hurt, but
yeah,
I imagine that's from because it's the same hand that he used the Infinity Gauntlet on, stuff like that.
That's correct, yeah.
And so I imagine that amount of destruction that was like brought into his hand. I imagine it's something that, you know, you just don't recover instantaneously or over. I mean, not only that, but also I think this takes place like maybe a month later.
It's like fairly, I would say fairly soon.
Because from what people are kind of putting together is that this is probably taking place at the same time Far From Home is happening.
Yeah.
Of like Spider-Man is in Europe, and this is what's going on in San Francisco, and stuff like that. And it's really interesting because right now all of the Marvel movies are kind of put out of whack. The timeline is super skewed.
Because of COVID, or
because
just
because
like,
of COVID and release dates
Okay.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the original release dates, it was supposed to be
May for Black Widow.
it was supposed to be Black Widow. Then it was supposed to be going straight into what was it? Winter Soldier, Cap and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Then it was supposed to go into WandaVision. Then we were supposed to, and in between those two was supposed to be Black Widow.
Right.
Then after that was supposed to go into Loki.
Mm-hmm.
Then that was going to lead us into the Eternals. Then the Eternals was going to lead us into Shang-Chi, and so on and so forth.
So a lot of moving dates and shows, like, I want to say, like, conveyor belt isn't, like, the right word, because, you know, I think these movies are made with, like, a lot of craft, but it shows, like, it's almost like a conveyor belt, if you're assembling stuff, and if you don't get, like, one thing assembled, they all start, like, piling up. You know, like, all these things got, like, backlog. And
well, yeah, because, I mean, I think it's the...
obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean, obvious reasons and everything else, but not only that, but also, I think it really does hurt it hurts the timeline where now people are kind of going, okay, so when does this take place? Because that was the benefit of phase 1 through 3.
Mm-hmm.
Of you can kind of assume that the events of the last movies all took place already.
Yeah.
They've already, like, even in Fury's big week, the events of Iron Man, Thor, and Hulk are all happening
around the same time.
Around the same time.
Yeah.
Like, Iron Man is still dealing with his thing while Hulk is, you know, being shot at over at the, what was it? It's just kind of like how you say in the What If episode of Fury's big week.
Yeah. That was a good What If episode. Have you been digging those?
Yeah. Those are pretty. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
What was it? I think it's. I liked it. I liked the Doctor Strange one. Still don't like the first one.
Oh, the Captain Carter.
Yeah, I still hate that one.
Okay.
Because it's not that it was dumb. It was just it was a women empowerment episode about, like, we should really listen to a woman, and they did a slideshow.
Oh, yeah. It was for that, like, it reminded me of again, and I think, like, it was a cool concept, but, like, the things in the episode are happening so fast. It's like that montage in Cap the First Avenger where it's like he goes experiencing all these tours of war. And it was kind of like the whole episode was kind of montagey where we didn't really see too much development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't like that, and it really did kind of frustrate me of, like, they did that, and I feel like that was an aesthetic choice they did because they were like, well, they did it in the First Avenger. And it's like, well, yeah, they also did that in the First Avenger because it's a war, and it was a really long war.
Yeah, couldn't show everything.
Yeah, to, like, show, like, this is every single mission that Captain America went on. We just need to show that he went on missions.
Yeah.
But the idea of Captain Carter is this, like, premium soldier, and then we just, like, kind of skip everything.
Yeah, kind of skim around.
We skip around, and we're just kind of, like, giving her things. It was really lame.
But yeah, mostly enjoying it.
Yeah, I mostly enjoyed What If.
For sure. You know, and then we had some friends who were on it too, so gotta support it.
Yes. We do have some friends that support that. Well, they made it, and I like what's come after.
Yeah.
I like everything that's come after this. After the first episode, I just did not like.
Okay.
Agent Carter, Captain Carter one, but yeah, I mean, besides.
It's all subjective.
Huh?
It's all subjective.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I already know I'm gonna get canceled because apparently I didn't like it because.
Oh well, no, I mean, there's like stuff where for Clone Wars, you know, I didn't like the Mortez sisters, that arc.
That's because you're sexist.
But when they brought them back in the Bad Batch, I liked them a bit more.
I actually really liked those Mortez sister episodes.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get into that one with, like, Ahsoka and all that, but
I liked seeing Ahsoka make friends.
Yeah.
Other than Jedi. But that's besides the point. Mm-hmm. For Shang-Chi, I think that what's it called? I really liked it just because it took a lot of notes of, like, the Shanghai noons, rush hours, you know, that aspect.
A lot of like Asian cinema.
A lot of Asian cinema, a lot of, like, you know, American to Asian cinema, you know, like this, you know, we're both investigating something, or like Shanghai Noon or Shanghai Nights, where, you know, it starts off with, you know, somebody who really doesn't know what's going on. They're very much the fish out of water.
Yeah.
And then now the martial arts specialist is kind of who is indoctrinated into whatever is going on in the world, is now introducing them. And then that person now has the same reactions we do of being introduced to the world.
Yeah.
And everything else. I mean, you see it all the time, just like I said, a lot of Jackie Chan movies.
Yeah, something like Police Story. Yeah, a lot of his other films from China, are certainly like that.
Yeah,
I haven't seen all of them because he's done like
he's
lot
done
of fucking movies.
Yeah, he's done like almost like 200
I know,
films.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that man works.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he doesn't do American movies anymore because we work too slow.
Yeah.
he'll do like 8 movies in like 4 months.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, the character of Shang-Chi, I thought he was fairly unique. I'd like the fact where he was just like this kind of like he was trying to fight against this indoctrination.
Very much so, yes.
The way that they portray him. Some people didn't like Aquafina. I felt she was fine. Aquafina.
You know what? I think because I get it. Sometimes Aquafina is too much.
A little bit, yeah.
Sometimes
I think she's really funny though.
She can be funny. She very much can be funny, but there are certain points in movies because Aquafina is great, but like just like in Crazy Rich Asians or in what's it called?
She was in Jumanji.
She was in Jumanji. Now she's in this one, but I feel like it's up to the director to kind of rein her in.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like when you let like Jim Carrey or something like that, and you just kind of go like, do whatever you want, and they kind of just kind of like revert back to what they really what they're known for doing,
right,
and stuff like that, and you don't get the best possible performance out of them, even though whatever they did might have been funny.
Yeah.
And sometimes it just becomes a little too much, and it takes you out of the movie. And I feel like Aquafina did a great thing of being that fish out of water, that person that was brought into this mystical like environment.
Yeah, she's an audience stand-in.
She very much is. Like, I like the idea of, there's a scene on the plane where he's giving her the entire backstory and everything else, and then, he's then explaining how to pronounce his name, that his name is Shang-Chi. And then she goes, wait, your name is Shang? And he goes, yeah. And she goes, so you changed your name to Sean? Like, no wonder why your dad found you.
Yeah,
like,
that was funny.
Like, you didn't try very hard. And everything else, but I thought that was really interesting. I really enjoyed Simon Yu as Shang-Chi. He did a really awesome job. Michelle Yeoh also did a great job as the aunt. Really as that like kind of like that nice like sensei,
teacher
aspect of it, and I think that did really well. I forget the name of his dad. The
actor.
The actor who played his dad.
Wenwu. Yeah.
Is it Wenwu?
Is the character's Wenwu, but
the character's Wenwu.
That person in particular, I can't think of their name.
Yeah,
Great actor.
He is a great actor.
And what did you think of? And again, he corrects the not the audience, but like corrects people that he isn't the Mandarin, but he's kind of supposed to be that Mandarin character.
Yes.
In terms of like, it was cool, like talking about kind of he puts people in their place in terms of like appropriation, and then
Tony Leung.
Okay.
Yeah, Tony Leung, and then what was it? Yeah, so Aquafina, Tony Leung. You have all these other characters.
Yeah. Would you think of seeing? I guess you can't call him the original Mandarin, but Trevor Slattery. Trevor Slattery from
you have
Iron Man 3.
you have Ben Kingsley, and I actually was really hoping we were going to see Trevor Slattery.
Yeah, you had a feeling, huh?
I had a feeling.
As soon as they put up All Hail the King on Disney Plus, I'm like, all right.
There's a reason, because Disney Plus put up All Hail the King, I think like 2 days before. What was it? Before Shang-Chi came out, and then like
essential viewing, and
it was in essential viewings, and then you were like, why would this be in essential viewings if Trevor doesn't show up? So Trevor Slattery, either that or Trevor Slattery will be mentioned.
Yeah.
And everything else, let alone be the key to getting to the magical city, which I think is hilarious. That Trevor Slattery just made friends with the magical
creature. I love Morris.
Yeah, Morris is great.
So cute. I just thought, just all like him talking to Morris, just communicating, just saying the most randomest things, and like, no, you gotta wait. And it's just, and then too, just to see Trevor, like he obviously working with terrorists, pretty terrible, but he kind of makes a point. He was like kind of down on his luck, addict.
Yeah, he cleaned himself up.
Like he's not inherently bad. He's just kind of like got exploited.
Yeah, he got exploited, and like I do like the idea that he, even if you don't know who Trevor Slattery was, he gives you a synopsis of Iron Man 3. Like the quickest synopsis I think I've ever heard of. I think I've ever heard, and he basically kind of like breaks down Iron Man 3.
It's a complicated movie when you think about it.
Yeah, it's a very complicated movie, but he just broke it down into like maybe like a paragraph.
Yeah.
Like, he broke down the VHS box in the back. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like seeing Trevor Flattery back. He honestly was one of the better parts of like the ending and stuff like that. Yeah, I really enjoyed seeing Ben Kingsley back. I like that his introduction back into the Marvel Universe. It works really well just because of the idea of now you've had time to think about it. You've had time to breathe, and you can kind of enjoy Iron Man 3 better.
You don't have some fandom. I mean, if you don't like the movie, that's fine. But like after like a couple of years, I kind of want to tell them like get over it. Like.
Well, I mean, you got your Mandarin now.
Yeah, you have the actual real Mandarin, and also too like Iron Man 3. I really enjoyed that movie. I think one of the better.
Shane Black did an amazing job.
Yeah, Phase 2 films. Yeah, it was Phase 2.
Typically Phase 2, yes.
Yeah. So people are still hating Iron Man. Iron Man 3. It's like you saw Iron Man 2.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie. I actually like the Iron Man trilogy. I really like that trilogy. Even with Whiplash, I think Justin Hammer is such a great villain.
I loved. I want to see that character back again, Justin Hammer. Because I was rewatching All Hail the King.
I want, seeing All Hail the King. I actually wouldn't mind seeing him in Suit Wars.
Armor Wars, yeah.
Yeah, or Armor Wars.
He might pop up, yeah.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
And everything else, but the other main thing that I really liked about Shang-Chi was the introduction of kind of this new mystical kind of dimension hopping.
Yeah.
Where apparently there are other dimensions that have been connected to our dimension.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And they've already kind of introduced that with Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, everything else.
I guess What If too.
What If?
Yeah.
But What If is mainly taking place because of the TVA.
Yeah.
That they've already Marvel has already said the reason why What If is happening is because we're watching the branches from the TVA.
Right. It would be such a downer on every episode. Like a TVA agent just comes in and just prunes everyone. That's how they all end.
That would be pretty downers. But what was it? Well, I mean, because their marketing is the TVA with the Watcher talking in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And that's and I really like that. That's an interesting idea of the Watcher and everything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we are introduced to these mystical creatures. We are introduced to everything else. I mean, we were kind of introduced to mystical creatures in what is it called? Iron Fist. A little bit.
I don't know if any of that's in continuity anymore. Who knows?
Well, because I don't know. They still talk about because they're talking about Daredevil coming back.
Right. Spider-Man.
Well, which D'Onofrio is yeah, man, I'm down to come back in Spider-Man.
The rumor is he might be in Hawkeye.
If he's in Hawkeye, even better, because D'Onofrio is a great kingpin. He's a great kingpin, and I think that also we have a great Daredevil too.
Charlie Cox
did an amazing job, and I would really hate to lose.
Cool, all the martial artist characters getting reintroduced in the MCU, like Daredevil.
Yes.
Finally showing Shang-Chi.
Yeah. And I would really like it because now that you got Shang-Chi, I think that'd be really cool if, Spider-Man and Shang-Chi kind of meet. Mm-hmm. And then, they've developed the way of the spider.
Yeah, it's a cool fighting style from the comics for sure.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I mean, you have both of them that are in the Marvel universe.
Right. So I had some problems with the third act.
Okay, so I liked the third act. I thought it was fun. But also I really like Eastern movies. I like how weird they get at the end.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Because it got weird. The fact there was a dragon, two dragons, a soul eater.
I liked that.
Yeah. It was maybe I need to see it again or just kind of but I felt like that was a lot. That was a lot to take in. And it could just be me.
I think it's just you.
Maybe it is. But I felt it was tiny bit messy.
Not really, because they were already talking about because the entire movie they're talking about this mystic village.
Yeah.
They keep on talking about mystic villages. They keep on talking about how dragons and the great the great guardian. The mom kept talking about it, and I think if you got there, and they were just we're gonna wipe all that. There is no dragon. There's nothing else. And, she was just telling a fantasy story. I think that would have been kind of lame. Mm-hmm. You had to kind of see what she was talking about because you also have to see what was she defending.
Yeah.
So ruthlessly, what would be so powerful? And she was even saying, "Oh yeah, I was granted powers by the Great Defender." I mean, Great Guardian or Great Protection.
Yeah.
Great Protector, which is also known as Fing Fang Foom.
Yeah.
But
I love that. This is Fing Fang Foom is such a weird 50s Marvel character. It's just a giant talking dragon.
it's just a giant talking dragon.
Sometimes he has pants. He has like purple pants sometimes. And some,
Is the Hulk?
kind of like the Hulk, yeah. But that was like very early 60s drawings.
You
But
gotta make sure to cover the dragon. You don't want
yeah.
to see his jiggles. You don't want to see anything inappropriate
Right.
from the dragon. A made-up character. But
This isn't a Ralph Bakshi cartoon.
yeah, but I do think that going into, and the way that Shang-Chi kind of developed and everything else, I feel like you had to have that wonky, like, ending.
Yeah.
And everything else. Like, well, not even wonky, I just thought that mystical ending, because, wait, hold on. Now that I'm thinking about it, you were okay with a man with magical rings that allowed him super strength and immortality? But the dragon is where it went too far? That's where the movie was just like, you were like, nope, jump the shark.
It was just, there was just so much going on with, I don't know.
But that's where it jumped the shark for you?
I don't think it jumped the shark. I was just kind of like, all right, this is a lot. That's the only thing. I'm like, this is a lot. Like, a lot of concepts, a lot of, crazy elements. But hey, like, I thought it was still good. It was just kind of like,
I know. I'm just kind of amazed by like that was the line. But anyway, yeah. I mean, you didn't like it, but there are a lot of like different mystical things, like even Crashing Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah.
That gets real weird too.
Yeah.
It gets real weird, but it's a great movie and everything else. There's a lot of Chinese movies that do get, or Eastern movies that get very very mystical or kind of weird at the end. And I think you just kind of have to accept it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, and go, okay, yeah, this is the movie I'm watching. But besides that, how did you like the movie overall? Like fight scenes?
Yeah, overall, like some really great fight choreography, some really interesting storytelling. Like it was very felt like kind of like a spy movie at certain like points where they're globetrotting, going around the world, collecting like artifacts, and yeah.
I felt like that's kind of like a thing about those like buddy cop, traveling movies, because like that was like a big thing in Rush Hour 2, where like they were globetrotting, where they went from China, then they went to New York. I mean, not New York, to Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. Rush Hour 2, yeah.
Or to LA, to China. I mean, so LA, China,
Vegas.
then back to LA, and then Vegas.
Well, yeah, I love Rush Hour 2. Rush Hour 2 is like...
Yeah, so I mean, that globetrotting thing, I mean, that works, and that's a lot of fun, and it's really nice to also get these, like, fish out of water things and everything else, like, especially with Aquafina, she came to Macau, and, even though she is, Asian, she doesn't really, her Chinese isn't, her Mandarin isn't all that great.
Right, yeah.
Everything else, and, she's still kind of that fish out of water. She's amazed by like all these things that are happening around her, whereas Shang-Chi is very much like, yeah, like this is normal.
Yeah.
Normal.
But yeah, no, it's really good showcation of like culture and kind of like that specific upbringing, talking to that Chinese perspective for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, which is interesting. I mean, I wouldn't have known that before, so
yeah,
very informative.
I think that's really cool. After credit scene, what did you think?
The first, we talked a little about the first one. It was cool. Kind of raised some like questions like on Hulk and stuff, but it was cool. Like, Juan was just hanging out with them and show Captain Marvel again before the Marvels, and I love Banner's line of like "Welcome to the circus."
Welcome to the circus. Like it's just this is pretty much a mess.
Yeah, like all this dumb stuff always happening to us. We have to take care of it.
Yeah. And inside of the Ten Rings, Wong makes a huge discovery that the rings are basically alive. Like they're a beacon. They're a beacon. They're calling someone.
To what? We don't know.
And for what and why?
Yeah.
What is your prediction for that? How exactly?
Man, because there's just like a lot of like characters that they could use. I mean, just in terms of like something like I don't know, Galactus or. I don't think
it would be like the I don't think it would be like their harbingers or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, unless Wing Wu got him off of one of the Heralds of Galactus.
Yeah.
In which, like, maybe because it did say that they found it either in a crater or inside of a tomb.
Yeah.
Like, the legend's still out on that.
There's a lot it could be. The only thing I've been noticing is they're just building towards Secret Invasion, but this doesn't feel like a part of that specific storyline.
Well, they're building towards Secret Invasion and everything else.
For the shows,
For the shows.
Yeah.
I'm kind of iffy about Secret Invasion. I mean, it's an okay comic.
Yeah, it really is just about like 5 issues of nothing happening.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, but also it's such a great way for them to kind of go like, yeah, the thing you didn't like about this character, it was because they were a Skrull.
Yeah,
like,
it's such a cop out.
Yeah, it's very much a cop out. It was a cop out in the comics, and I feel like that's a cop out even in the movies of like, he's a Skrull, and that's why you didn't like him, and everything like that, and everything else. You know what? Before we move on, what did you think of the villain? What did you think of Wenwu? Because honestly, I felt like this was more of his movie than it was kind of Shang-Chi's.
No, I thought Wenwu was really interesting as like a very complex villain, like just the relationship between him and his son, where his son just doesn't want to be him, and that's just a very makes you care about these characters, even though they still kind of care for each other.
Right.
And it was a very nuanced performance. The fact that he wants his son to succeed him, but then he wants to just basically like domineer his son's life.
Yes.
Don't give him a choice. So yeah, I thought that was a really complex sort of like dad issues, I guess.
Very, very much so. I also thought that the dad, Wenwu is very much a complex villain because he has this I'm going to conquer the world. He meets his love, just like kind of like in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, where they fall in love via combat. Via combat.
When you fight a woman, you're like, that's the one.
Well, not only that, but also he hasn't been beaten in over 1,000, like maybe over 1,000 years. And is the first woman to just like totally destroy you.
Yeah.
Everything like that. I mean, how could you not? But the bigger thing is that I really enjoyed the idea of him wanting to put it away. He destroyed, he disbanded the Order of the Ten Rings and everything else. He had a family, did all these other things, and I think that's kind of an interesting idea. And maybe the reason why, Aldred Gillian thought it was okay to steal this legend of the Order of the Ten Rings, because at a certain point they were kind of defunct.
Yeah, it's kind of an active. Okay, I didn't notice that before.
It was defunct, and like there was like this legend of like of a guy of this like ageless warrior that kind of ordered them around, and they're now defunct and not really a terrorist organization, and bringing them back up and kind of like trying to use their name to scare everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of cool, and everything else. That kind of idea, especially since he even said like, oh yeah, like as I had to like rebuild the Ten Rings when I came back. Like when your mother died, I had to rebuild the Ten Rings. And if you think about it, he was only gone for 6 years. He said he was 7 when he started, and then for another 7 years he trained. And then I think it's been like 10. And then I think he says he hasn't. Yeah. How long did he train?
Wonky timelines there, but I want to say it was like from when he was 7 to like when he was 15.
Because I thought it was like 7, so it was 8 years, and then another 6 years.
Yeah.
So it's maybe been 13 years, and everything else. That would align. That would kind of align where he's only kind of coming back for like past 4 years.
Yeah.
Of like trying to rebuild the Ten Rings.
Yeah, maybe he got like snapped away or something too. Like there's that 5-year gap.
And there is that 5-year gap, but I don't think that he was snapped away. I think because a lot of the people in this movie, I feel like were some of the people that didn't. That stayed,
yeah.
I'm just dropping in to tell you that unfortunately we had some technical difficulties. This recording ended a little too short. Right now, we're going to cut away to an interview that we had with our friend of the show. His name's Eric Erickson, and he was the voice actor in Life is Strange 2. So you get to hear all his tales about acting. All right, so have a special guest on this interview segment. A good friend of mine. I've worked for him Had pleasure of working on the same features. My good friend Eric Erickson. How you doing, good sir?
Hey, it's good to see you, man. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, no, I think like 2 years. We worked on Arctic Apocalypse. I'm not sure. That was 2 years ago? You know?
It feels like there's no time and space anymore.
Yeah.
It's all wobbly and figure it out. But yeah,
There was after the pandemic and before the pandemic.
before
That's the only measure.
AP and BP. Are we gonna start calling it that?
I'll call it that. But yeah, it's good to have you on the show. We worked on Jurassic Galaxy together. We've kind of like run in the same circles, I guess. John Kondelik, James Kondelik, who we've had on the show before. So Eric, just tell us a little about yourself and your background, just for any viewers.
I'm a filmmaker, writer, actor, director, I guess, multi-hyphenate. Also an author. I founded a small production company. We're growing, but I shouldn't say small. We're growing. Called Viking Dog. We're an entertainment company, and we do film and publishing, and we have some other projects that we work on. And I'm just stumbling along in this little industry like everybody else. And I'm a storyteller. That's what I tell people when they ask me what I do. It's all about telling stories and entertaining people.
Eric, also kind of lending itself to these, the show. We have comic book fans, but a lot are video game fans. And as some listeners may not know, you are Big Joe in Life is Strange 2. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's I'm a big Square Enix fan. I love some of the games. The first Life is Strange is great. Played a lot of the spin-offs and everything. Talk a little bit about working with Square.
So the first film I did, Far Cry Primal. I wasn't in the game, but I was in the ad campaign. So I actually played the main character in the commercials. So that kind of got me into like that circle. And then I read for Life is Strange 2. I knew nothing about the game. I'd never heard of it. And I got cast, and we recorded it in a little studio, and it was a blast. I think we did 5 days, and I didn't know anything about the character, so the voice director really worked a lot with me, and he's like, trust me, this is what it is. They didn't even have a character design for me to see. So he's like, they were very adamant that it's you. Like, your voice is perfect, what we're looking for, and that's what every actor wants to hear. But the director, if I remember correctly, was in France, and he actually called in, and he would like give his notes. So I'm listening to one guy in the other room, and then I hear a voice like from coming in from France with this accent. He's like, "Oh, do it like this," and I'm like, "Okay," it would change everything. And it was the one tough thing about it was a lot of one-liners, and if you play the game, it's not, he doesn't pontificate, he doesn't have these big monologues or anything. So it was a lot of just like, hey, shut up, hey, so it was throwing out one-liners, and the voice director was very like, great, I need this version, I need this version, I need this version. So it was a lot of fun. I'd never really done anything like it before. And then when it came out, I didn't realize how big the fan base was. And I didn't realize how passionate they were about these characters. And I started watching some of the playthroughs and how much they hate this guy. And I was listening to these people like, oh, that asshole, freaking this, and I'm like, cool.
You did the job, yeah.
I'll take it. So every once in a while I'll pop in and I'll be on like Instagram, and I'll scroll through and I'll see people talking about it. I'll be like, oh, I'm glad you like the character. And they'll be like, Big Joe responded to my thing. Oh my god. I was like, all right, that makes my day.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, Big Joe, like he's a really like rough character. He's just like, just a big biker dude, right?
Yeah, he's like, he works on the pot farm, and he kind of like, he oversees the kids, and he just doesn't take any crap. He's just really kind of like, he doesn't hate his job, but he definitely doesn't want to be there. He's like, he just kind of goes through the motions and doesn't want to deal with their shenanigans. He gets hit in the head one point with with an ashtray, I think it was.
Yeah.
Punches out the kid in one of
yeah.
the.
I think
Spoiler alert, but
well, I mean, the game's been out for like.
that's true. I think we're
Yeah.
past that.
Yeah.
But it was fun. It was the hardest part for me. Really, was like when I do a lot of. Over the years, I've done a lot of villains, and a lot of times they ask me to like, they're like, play with your voice and like give it more character, and I've done like some voiceovers, like almost like a Clint Eastwood thing, where it's like, just show me your money, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that was one thing, is like I kind of slipped into that. He's like, no. He's like, just play it straight, just use your normal voice. So it was a learning experience as well as enjoyable.
Yeah.
As an actor, you're always looking to walk away with something and learn from it. I definitely did.
Yeah, I can imagine. I was going to say also, it must have been interesting because, if anyone is not familiar with the games, Life is Strange is choose your own adventure sort of storytelling. So you're acting in like 2 different or 3 different storylines sometimes, where each decision the player makes, and you're doing kind of different takes. How is that like?
It was weird because basically on the wall there was a readout, there was a screen, and it had and every day I would go in and they're like, here's your lines for the day, and you have no context whatsoever. You have absolutely no idea. So before each like kind of line or grouping, the vocal director would be like, okay, I want this one really angry, or I want this one. He's like, good, now let's try it like like not as angry. And it was, I had no idea the context of the scene, and he wouldn't tell me. So it was really like you're really playing the emotion, or you're playing the moment, versus like playing out an entire scene. So when I finally saw the cutscenes and I saw the gameplay, I was like, oh, that's what I was doing. Oh, that's what I got hit with, or that's who I was yelling at. So, but I definitely remember my favorite one was when he's driving in the truck and they're talking in the back of the truck, and we had to do a whole bunch of takes of like how to tell him to shut up back there. He's like, I forget the exact line, but it's not like damn kids, or he's like freaking fracking, kind of thing. But yeah, that was tough because like I had no context. So you really have to listen to the direction and listen to what they want, because they know, and they're not going to really share it with you. I know that I forget the guy's name. He was really a great guy, but he also did like the Transformers cartoon. He was the vocal director on a bunch of the different Transformers projects and stuff. So he really knew his stuff, and he's really good at working with actors and getting out what he needed. So apparently the game did well. People enjoyed it. So he did his job. I did my job. So
yeah, well, yeah, just watching the cutscenes and everything. Yeah, your performance really comes across well, and you really delved into the character, I felt.
Oh, thank you. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
And we're back from that interview. Hope you enjoyed it. Eric's a cool guy, and you got to hear more about his all his talents. So that's cool. Hope to have him on the show again. Yes. So talking about Batman the animated series, we're making our way through season 1. We're almost getting there.
They're good.
They still hold up.
They still hold up.
They really do.
Just to kind of jump into them, what did you think of The Last Laugh?
The Last Laugh, I thought was a very. It reminded me of something like out of the 70s, 60s sort of Batman comics, where the Joker does something, like Laughing Fish, or puts the whole town in hostage, but it's not like something like serious. No, yeah,
it's pretty serious.
It's pretty serious.
Yeah.
I meant not something like The Dark Knight, where it's like with bombs or like holding, like choice. It's just like laughing gas and everything.
Well, because I thought it. What did he say? Because I remember early on in the episodes they even say like we have to fix this now, or else they slowly go insane.
Yeah.
Or else, like, if we don't fix, and that was kind of like their thing. Because I remember even when they were developing the show, they were like, we can't have the Joker murder people.
Yeah.
Because in some earlier comic books,
he kind of, he did in the movie Mask of Phantasm, but not in the cartoon itself.
Yeah, I feel like the Mask of Phantasm, because it was actually getting a theatrical release, they could do that. Because they could just get a PG-13 or a PG rating.
Yeah.
But, on TV, you can't do that kind of stuff. Like, especially with cartoons.
Yeah.
Like, you could not kill somebody. That was the whole reason why they came up with the laughing gas. Like, mythology.
Yeah.
And everything else. But, so Joker holds Gotham at bay, or Gotham at ransom, and tries to mess with Batman. I mean, it's a pretty simple episode.
Yeah, I
pretty
mean, it's
clean cut.
very straightforward. I like the straightforwardness of it, though. It's just one concept, and it's like one thing, and it's just that's the whole episode.
And it has Joker kind of running all over town, and Batman trying to catch him.
Yeah.
And it really does show the great dynamic that both Mark Hamill and also Kevin Conroy have. This like great chemistry between them, where it's perfect antagonistic, where they one can just for some reason it just sounds like they can just perfectly antagonize each other, or like they know the buttons to push.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's just really good. It's really good. That's why I feel like they're the best. I feel like every single time I read a comic book, I always think Mark Hamill, Kevin Conroy's voice.
Yeah, I do that as well.
Yeah, reading it with their voices in mind, like kind of like reading it over. Yeah, that's it's always a good it's always a good way to read it. But is there anything special about this episode that you wanted to talk about?
No, I was just gonna say I love the little like motif of the theme. That's like there's like there's this like one musical theme that just keeps playing as like Joker like spreads his.
I feel like that was I feel like they got the idea from Batman 89.
89. Oh yeah.
With the laughing gas. With the laughing gas, it's kind of like what's happening is he has the same. As long as you have the scenes where he's like the gas is spreading.
Yeah. No, I could.
It has that same like musical score.
Yeah, I could see that as well because the show is very influenced by Batman 89. Because it's coming out. This is 92. It's like right before Batman Returns. 89's already came out. It's still in the public consciousness. Excuse me. Yes. And a lot of the
Batmobile
looks pretty similar to 89.
The gothic appeal to it, the mixture of between, like this like 1950s but also
90s
tech.
So the Batwing looks pretty similar, and even though Shirley Walker, the composer, she does like a motif on the Danny Elfman's theme, but it's still kind of using dun 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 dun. Dun.
Yeah, it still has those dun dun dun.
Yeah, it's still like.
Still has the melodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, very much so, and I do feel like this is kind of like their homage to the 1989 movie, because I mean, how much closer can you get to basically the 1989 movie of like I'm just gonna make everybody sick with laughing gas.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's as close as you can get to the 89 movie.
Mm-hmm. Have more like Prince songs, I guess.
Have more Prince songs? Yeah, man. Party Man. Was it Bat Dance?
Bat Dance, yeah.
I played that for my students, and they were just like, "What is this?" I'm like,
what the Joker dance to?
I'm like, it's Prince. They're just like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, the Joker dances to this, and it's called Bat Dance." They were just like, "That's a real thing."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a weird time in the 80s, yeah.
The 80s is a weird time. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, to kind of move on, because I mean, that one, like we said, very simple. It's basically 22 minutes of Batman chasing Joker.
Joker, yeah.
Trying to get him to, trying to get the antidote and trying to do everything else. I mean, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's pretty self-explanatory. There's no further themes than Joker just trying to piss off Batman and get a rise out of him. But Eternal Youth is an interesting concept. The idea of Alfred and Paige kind of going to this spa that Poison Ivy has been, which is now operating, and the facilitator for, and
first time she comes back here.
It's so interesting, this idea of mortality that kind of comes up, because they do really kind of question this idea of like, what about if I was younger? Like, would I change things? Would I do everything like that? Would I still be Alfred Pennyworth?
Yeah.
And I really did like this idea of it's a episode that's about Alfred.
Yeah.
Instead of about Bruce. And I think that was like one of the cooler things about Batman Animated Series.
Alfred
I think that's a great idea of Batman Animated Series, is that there are a bunch of episodes where it's just like, what about if Batman shows up the last 5 minutes? Just to kind of save the day.
Yeah.
And everything else.
Similar to POV in terms of storytelling, where it's not just necessarily centered on Batman.
Right.
Interesting, the writing of these episodes, that they're like, let's have an episode about Alfred or like Harvey Bullock or something.
Yes.
I mean, there was like 90 something episodes, so they had a lot.
I mean, there's a lot of episodes that I think that also works out in their favor too, because that made them think, well, we can't just have Batman in every single episode.
Right. Yeah.
like Bruce Wayne defeating a villain. You know, how many times can we tell us talk about his daddy issues? His parent issues in like a single episode. We're gonna have to talk about other people, and they do it really well with the. Okay, so cool. We're gonna talk about Alfred. We're gonna talk about what does it mean to be Alfred Pennyworth? Does he have a good life? Does he like his life?
Mm-hmm.
Because nobody really talks about Alfred. They're just like, yeah, Alfred's there. He's the boy. He's very much Bruce's dad.
Yeah.
But nobody really talks about Alfred. Like, nobody goes into, like, his backstory a lot. Nobody goes into, like, how he got into with the Waynes. It's just kind of like, yeah, Alfred has always been Bruce Wayne's father.
Yeah.
And it's nice to kind of dive into there and kind of see what his hopes, his
right.
dreams are.
And it fits in the show. It's not like something like, what's that show about, like, Alfred? Was it just called Alfred? It was on
Pennyworth.
Pennyworth.
It's called Pennyworth. I think it's still going.
Is it still going?
I think it's like on season 2 or 3.
God damn it. Where, like, something like that, that's like...
Where he's, like, part of the British mob.
Yeah. Where it's, like, it reminds me of, from Teen Titans Go, the movies. You've seen that.
Yeah.
There's that joke where it's, like, they show all the trailers, like, here's a spin-off of Alfred, or, like, the Batmobile, or, like, Batman's utility. No.
Oh, yeah, like, everything needs a spin-off except for Robin.
It's
just like, when do I get a spin-off? When do I get my own spin-off?
Yeah, you got Titans. So.
Yeah, you got Titans.
Yeah, you've been enjoying that.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that.
All right.
That show's a mess. They killed off, like, one of the best characters.
Oh.
And then just went like, yeah, Jason Todd did it.
I haven't seen it. So.
Yeah, it's not the story of Jason Todd is such a great story.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good, and it gives you so much depth, especially when Jason Todd comes back, because if you do it correctly, you can have this real morality tale between him and Batman.
Right.
It's like, I would do anything to avenge you. And the idea of Bruce kind of like sticking to his guns and having principle and knowing if I did that, there's no going back.
Yeah.
And then just watching Titans just go, I mean, that's cool, but what if we went the other way? What if we just made it where Batman just bludgeons the Joker in Arkham Asylum and then just
I saw a clip of that on YouTube.
Yeah,
like, I killed him, Robin.
Yeah, I killed him. You know what he did when I was beating his brains in?
I really want to see, who's that? Who did he play in Game of Thrones? Jorah? Or he didn't play Jorah?
He's Jorah Mormont.
Yeah. I want to see him in the Bat costume. Never seen that. But.
You don't. Like, you never
so
see him in the Bat costume. I don't think he's actually put on a Bat costume and everything else. He's only just been in a suit, which, I mean, must be an easy job. This must really be an easy job for the actor, just because whenever you see him, he's on the phone. He's always like chilling in like a chair with like some scotch and a cigar.
How old is he supposed to be in that show? Like 60?
He's like probably in his like 50s.
Oh, okay.
He's probably like in his like mid to late 50s because Dick Grayson's already in his 20s.
Yeah, like Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. Also, Batman's just kind of Batman's a sociopath. Like they I feel like whoever created the show did not understand Batman, and really they're telling a Batman story about Jason Todd because I guess in Titans they're just like the only interesting people are the Bat family, so like we don't need to worry about Beast Boy or Starfire or any of these other characters, and they just kind of like Dick Grayson's on the Bat computer and then he just sees like Jason Todd has been dead for like a week, and Bruce is already looking for new recruits. Like you see Carrie Kelly, Luke Fox, you see like all these other people.
Yeah.
Not even Tim Drake's not even on the list. It was just like Carrie Kelly, Cassie Kane, all these other people, and then Bruce Wayne walks in and Dick's like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Potential recruits." It's like, Jason just died.
Yeah.
You jerk. Like what? Like have a little remorse.
Yeah.
For it, and
exactly.
He's just like, this is a war. And I feel like
that's too fanatical for Batman.
Yeah, it's way too fanatical. Not only that, but also the idea that because Bruce never wanted to bring these kids in. Like Bruce is like, if Bruce had to do it alone, Bruce would do it alone.
Yeah.
The only reason he brings these kids in is because he sees himself in them, and he realizes that the only way they can get past their trauma is to deal with it, and he wants to be that father figure towards them.
Directed somewhere.
Yeah, direct it somewhere so he puts him into crime fighting so that way they don't go nuts with this like rage that they have and everything else, and then he's able to channel it and put it onto something good. Whereas this one is just like he's just like kind of like a child soldier. Like he's like down for child soldiers, and he's just like, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to make a bunch of child soldiers and like send them send them at villains, and if they die, they die, and everything else. And it's so weird because they get because they're using the Hush idea, but like they're brainwashing. Like Scarecrow has brainwashed Jason Todd, and he just hates Batman, and it's so wonky. It's so weird. And then not only that, but then also you're putting like while all this is going on with Jason Todd, you're dealing with Blackfire, and you're just like, okay, so like which one is more important? Here.
They don't juggle storylines well.
They're not
like Batman the animated series. Bring
like
it back to that.
Yeah, not like Batman. Sorry for my rant.
No, that's all.
He brought up Titans and it triggered.
Yeah,
it just triggered something in me where I was like, I feel like I need to talk about.
You either make, I guess one of our listeners, and then I guess he was a guest one time, or he was a guest at one time. Noah Garcia, he loves Titans, but he's either going to be really happy or really mad listening to this. So sorry, Noah.
Does he really likes Titans? Doesn't he?
I think he really likes Titans. Yeah, I think I haven't seen if he said he liked this season, but anyway.
I'm not saying you're wrong. If you liked it, this season, I can see there's some.
I'll have to ask. Like,
so there's a lot to like in it, but there's also a lot. There's definitely way more to hate.
For sure. But Eternal Youth. Any other thoughts?
Not really. I mean, I really enjoy. I enjoy the episodes. Like I said, I really do like these Alfred-centric stories.
Yeah.
And I believe
I like this version of Alfred too.
I do like this.
He's like he was just like his wit. He's so dry. You know that joke where he's like, I drew you a bath. It's just like to fuck with him. There's like no point of him like just drawing a bath and then like not.
Yeah. I think his humor is perfect, and I feel like. Because, okay, when I saw this Batman, I think is like the perfect Michael Caine. Mm-hmm. Like, and I think that's why when we got Michael Caine as Batman in, what was it, The Dark Knight? Batman Begins. I think that's why we liked him so much.
Right.
Because he reminded us of the animated series Batman.
Yeah.
Because he has that dry wit. He has that, like, sarcasm. Mm-hmm. He has that, like, that very much parental, like, I know how to guide you through this.
Yeah, the Jeremy Irons one was kind of like, a little funny, but certainly didn't have that Michael Caine wit.
Yeah, he doesn't have that same wit.
I'm interested to see the Andy Serkis one. That's going to be cool.
I think that, because Andy Serkis does have wit. Yeah. Andy Serkis can pull off witty very, very well. He can also pull off sarcastic as well. So I really do like when Batman and Alfred kind of bicker like an old married couple.
Yeah.
Where like
it's
Batman,
Mr. Wayne.
Where Batman will say something where he's doing something, he's just like, "Oh yay!"
Right.
Like this is a great idea. Yeah. Why don't we hire more children to do our bidding?
Yeah.
And everything else, but yeah. So I mean, I really enjoy this. I think there's like 2 more in the series of like Alfred episodes, if I remember correctly. I think there's like 2 to 3 more. There
probably is.
Yeah.
I guess we'll find out. Keep watching it.
Yeah, and everything else. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think you guys really enjoyed it. Put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys liked about the episode. If you didn't like the episode, do you want to see more Alfred? What do you guys think of Andy Serkis? Like, do you think he's gonna be good? Do you think he's gonna be like Schmeagol and in like an outfit, in like a butler suit, which I think would be.
It would, yeah. Just like he has a lot of range, so
he has a lot of range. I mean, we
put him in a mocap costume.
Put him in a mocap costume and make him Robo Alfred. I don't know. I don't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him as Spiegel and everything else. Speaking of which, people are saying they're really liking the Paul Dano.
Oh yeah, it was really There's been some test screenings that have went out, and people are saying really good things about it. Like he's a horror movie character, which is for the Riddler. Really interesting. They made him like Jigsaw or something.
Well, they made him the Zodiac.
The Zodiac
killer. They essentially just made him the Zodiac killer, and because apparently he murders people. He murders public officials that are corrupt in Gotham.
There's a lot.
And then,
There's a lot of those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, if you were gonna have a vigilante that's killing people, Gotham is definitely a place to start. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you have a lot of targets. But yeah, people are saying they're really liking it. They're enjoying the movie. They're saying that Paul Reeves and Robert Pattinson's Batman is super good.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And I mean, and this is early.
Yeah.
This is raw screens. Like this is like without special effects. This is without what was it, like probably like cleaning up the picture and everything like that. Like it's just the movies put together. It probably might not even have a score yet.
Yeah, I could have a temp track. Yeah, at this point. Yeah,
it might not have like the full score just yet, because that would make sense. Like, I think like just like a. But I wouldn't be surprised if for like a temp track they were using like old music. Like they might just like if they have a new Batman theme, they might just be using an old Batman theme.
Right, maybe some more Nirvana. Needle drops.
Some more needle drops.
That was a great needle drop in that trailer. I've seen that trailer so many times.
Yeah,
I love
it. All right.
So our audio went out, so unfortunately we had technical difficulties all over the place. So we're just going to finish this up real quick with a little bit of an audio burst. Gene, just to kind of finish up your thoughts on Batman Eternal Youth.
Yeah, I thought it was one of the better episodes. Just seeing Alfred, want to see what he does, his like hobbies, his interests. It's cool.
Maybe you should check out Pennyworth.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Anyway, so I mean, go check it out. Once again, follow us on follow us on our Facebook, our Instagram.
We have an Instagram finally. It's at Serving Up Comics on Twitter and Instagram. Please follow.
Yeah, go over there. Remember to hit that bell. Remember to hit the subscribe button. I see some of you guys. I look at the analytics. Some people are watching and they're not subscribed, and I don't like it. I will sick Gene on you. Anyway, go over, go check it out. What was it? If you like content like this, go ahead and hit that bell, and check out some of the other videos, some of the other stuff that we've been doing, and go back and kind of listen to the other reviews of the other episodes and stuff like that. Gene, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram, Gene9892.
And you can find me on the Nick Valero on both Instagram, Twitter, and also and Facebook as well. Follow us there and catch up with us, okay? We've been professionally unprofessional.